all of the slots. Open those peak times and those peak times, but open more than that. On my second month teaching, I was hired in the beginning of October, and so I opened up and I taught. You know, they were booked, and so I was teaching morning and night through November, December, January, through that Chinese New Year there. But that, because I did that right when I first got hired in my first contract, I opened up all of those classes. I am still teaching some of those students that I met then. They became regulars, and I've taught them all the way through levels, and I'm still teaching them. But I don't teach nights anymore. Okay, so once you open up all of those slots and you gain those regulars, they like you, they become your followers. Do you all know what followers are? Like you see them with the little flower next to your app. But once you gain those, they will follow you around. Like if
I have them, but I'm sorry, I don't know what it even means. But I have 3 followers, but I don't know what it means.
Okay, so it's up here by the little flower. So I have 300 followers, and so that just means that they can see you, and if they choose, it's kind of like they go in and they choose a notification bell. So they can choose to get a notification if you open extra slots, or if you've opened short notice slots, or they can kind of choose what to be notified for if they have chosen to be your follower.
Oh, okay.
Even though like I gained them or I met them while I was kind of like casting that wide net, the ones that decided they liked me, that it was worth following me around, moved with my schedule, and now I teach them in the morning. And so that's why, open up everything that you can, especially now that we're all home. I would just open up everything that I can and then decide, this is what I want to teach, and your regulars will follow you there. I do suggest taking that roadmap in workshops, and this does help you. You fill out that form, and it's not really like you go to a workshop, you get a class. It's more like they are going to invest in their teachers that are investing their time into the company. They are watching that, they use those surveys as attendance, and so they're going to notice, like, okay, just like they're noticing you're working on your profile, you're changing your classroom, you're updating things, they're going to notice that you're going to this professional development. And so it helps in that sense, especially for classes where the LP can book those classes. It's not the parents, it is the LP. Things like that, the investment that you're putting into the company are really going to pay off with those classes.
I'm not sure what that even is. I don't know what the roadmap in workshops is. What is that?
So you can go, let's see. I don't know if you guys can see that. Can you see my portal now?
Yes.
So you can actually go to the library and click here for workshops, and it's going to give you a roadmap, like what are the workshops you should take, and there is a roadmap here. So follow the roadmap.
Okay.
You want to take all of those workshops that they so there's like one for like new teachers, so it includes like what's happening on the app and things like unit assessments, because people get hired, they have no idea what a unit assessment is, things like that.
Okay.
You want to take all those classes, and then be proactive in getting certified for every level that you can, especially trials. So used to, you would get hired, you'd get put on the platform, and you would automatically be able to teach their trials. But it's not like that anymore. Now you're hired and you can teach levels 2 and 3 or 4 and 5, or maybe both of them, depending on how you did certification. And then you want to go get those trials, because trials are booked by LP and the sales team. That's why you want them. Because those are the ones that are going to matter. If you're sending in a low bookings ticket, or if you are putting yourself in the faces of the LPs and the people in home office, these are the classes you can get. This is what they have control over, giving you those trial classes. And so that's why you want to get those in your certifications. And of course, the more levels you have open, the more students you can book. But if you get those trial students converted, it's like a 60% chance they're going to stay with you and take classes with you. If you are the teacher that signs them up for VIP Kid, they're going to take more classes than just that one with you. So trials are good. Highly recommend that. A couple of things to remember about trials. You do want to finish at 25 minutes so that the sales team can get on right after your class and talk to the parents. You also want to send that feedback immediately after. Yes, you have 12 hours, but the sooner they have that feedback from the trial, the sooner the sales team is able to jump on and talk to them, the more likely you are to get that conversion. The more conversions you get, of course, the more trials they're going to give you. And also pre-VIP, I do recommend that because it's different, okay? But it takes a little bit more energy. However, you can teach more hours in the day. They're often home more often than other school children. You can teach earlier in the morning, and you can teach those night classes with a pre-VIP students. And then, of course, we talked a little bit more about the video profile and bio. You just want to change them for attention. You just want somebody to see you. If you aren't doing anything, your profile is going to fade into the background, and they're just going to let that do it. They're going to let it happen. But if you keep changing, if you stay proactive about keeping your profile, your face forward in the company, you're going to see that pay off. And then, of course, think about your teacher tags. So you can actually look at your teacher tags. I'm going to go to my info and here in my portal, and then you can pick that bottom one, tags, and so you can see I have 6 tags here. They were all chosen by a parent or an MCM. So the parent tags are in your feedback. Those are the tags that the parents choose when they're giving you apples. The MCM tags were given to you by your MCMs in your mock classes. So you can go in and update your tags. But if you choose a tag that has not been chosen by an MCM or a parent, it will not be seen. So if you have 4 that are MCM or parent tags and 2 that aren't, you're only going to have 4 visible tags to those parents. So you want to ensure that you have chosen tags that they're going to be able to see. And you can actually, click here to update your tags, and you can see all the choices. Now, this is very important to sort of think about your teaching style and also think about that student that you want. If you choose patience, then you're going to get those students that are bouncing off the walls and they're a little excited every class, right? If you choose, error correction, then you might be getting students who struggle a lot. Right? If you choose scaffolding, you're going to get students who maybe are placed above or below where they're supposed to be placed. So just as you are choosing these tags, think about the student that you want. And also try to make them be cohesive. And that you do have some. If you haven't chosen tags at all, if you haven't gone and done anything, they're chosen for you. The ones that your MCMs and your parents have chose, but you can, of course, go and change those as well. Specifically thinking about the student that you want. If you are, say, booked for, or if you are certified for levels 4 and 5, and you go to your tags, and maybe your tags are more suitable for younger, lower level learners, then you might want to change those. So if you're having some low bookings, I would look at that, see if that's something you could change. All right. When was the last time I changed mine? Actually, we weren't always able to change them. I would say it was about 6 months ago that they made us be able to change them. And I went, and all I did was take one away and add another one because I wanted them to be more cohesive with each other. And that's the only time I changed them. Again, just if you have low bookings, you want to add all possible certifications, you want to get those trial classes and get the camp courses. The camp courses are those supplemental courses, and there are a lot of them, but these are the ones that the LP can book. So I'm going to just click back over here to my profile and go to certification. And then I'm going to click on supplementary. So all of these classes here, these are the ones that the LP can book, and they do try to book it with a different teacher, not the regular teacher for that student. And so you have a really good chance of, again, just like the trials, getting these booked by home office. It's not sales team, it's learning partners. But if you can kind of catch a learning partner's eye, like with your bio or with your video that you sent in that Tina was talking about earlier, then they are more likely to throw some of these your way. So you want to get these. Now these, you do have to teach so many classes. I think, you know, some of them are 250 classes, some of them are 500 classes, but I do encourage you to send a ticket, especially if you go, you know, 4 weeks without teaching a class at all. Send a ticket and say, hey, I would really like to be able to teach the VIP Kid vocabulary classes. I've been a teacher for however many days. I've taught these, you know, like kind of build yourself up in a nice, polite way and say, I want to be able to get this certification. I do suggest that. Yes?
I don't even know how to send a ticket. I don't
know
know
how to send a ticket?
Uh-uh.
Okay, so you're going to go to support.
Okay.
And you're going to click my tickets here, right here. It says 0.
Okay.
So click my tickets. And then you want to click contact support. And it's going to give you, you know, you want to pick like, what's your issue? I have an issue with teaching. What's your second category? You know, whatever it is, you want bookings. Okay, wait, I have low bookings, low or no bookings, right? And so then you're going to type a topic and send it, and you submit it right there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So those are just a few things. Now let's talk about the booked info pending classes. I do have another slide about this, but you want to keep those. And everybody is certified for booked info pending, and this is how they're doing that substitute program. So you want to keep that. Once you feel comfortable doing short notice, open them up. And now I would, you know, if you're not want to get up in the next morning, you don't want to check that class schedule an hour before, close them. But usually that's when they book. Short notice classes are going to book overnight for us, typically 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. And so, you know, if you have classes open short notice, set that alarm, go and check it on your computer. Because if they book a class, a 5 a.m. class at 4:45 a.m., for that, you know, you're not going to be able to see that right away in the phone app, but you'll be able to see it on the computer. So you want to be able to check those short notice bookings on the computer. So a short notice class should be able to be booked up until an hour before that class time, but I have had them book a half hour before. Like while I have been in a class, I have had that next class book short notice. And a lot of times it's more like maybe they did book it an hour before, but it just took that long to show up. So that's why I just say check it. How to make sure you are prepared for a short notice class? Well, you just kind of want to know the methods, know the overall techniques. When you go to coaching, when you go to our mentor class, we talk about just knowing overall, understanding IPAE, understanding that high five method for the higher levels. And just know that all of the lessons are going to follow that same structure. The lower level lessons are all going to have the introduce, practice, apply, and extend methods. The upper level lessons are all going to, you know, you introduce that red word, you have the students do all the reading, you ask those comprehension questions. It's going to be the same no matter what that content is. The issues with, so that's teaching. The issues with short notice really come up with props. You know, what props are you going to have? Are you going to be sure that you have those props available? So I would just have some very generic props so that you can meet that. Things like, you know, clappers, hearts, Mike and Meg, things that can be used at any level for any class. Because a short notice booking, again, could be any level. So I would just think very generic props, because you're not going to have any idea what those classes are. Same thing for booked info pending. You're basically a substitute if you have a book info pending class. And so you just have to be prepared with very generic props. If it is a book info trial class, you can have like a trial bucket ready, like with all those, you know, fruit or ABC letter flashcards, or, you know, if you have that jungle trial, you could have cards with animals in the jungle. Trials, booked info trial classes, short notice trial classes are a little bit easier because you can kind of prepare for all those trials at one time. But for the others, I would just have the teaching techniques down that I can use, whatever the content is on the slides, and very generic props. So do we all know what Frenzy is? I threw this one in here today. Monday at noon, Beijing time, all of the slots are open and available to be booked by the parents. But this is what happens Monday at noon. However, you could already have priority bookings from students that you have taught at the same time and day 2 weeks before. The LP can book before the Frenzy. Level 7 and 8 can book before the Frenzy. Your regular and your interested students can book before the Frenzy. So even though everything becomes available in general on this Monday at noon, you usually already have classes booked. So I'll show you kind of like what that looks like here for me. So this is this week's classes for me, maybe, if they're going to show up. And I already have some, it's thinking. And I already have some classes that are priority booked. So the classes that I have taught this week, right after I taught that class, the parents decided they sent me a request, or it comes automatically. We're going to talk a little bit more about that with regular students. So I'm going to go into that Frenzy with about half of my classes already booked. Okay, so this is me. This morning I taught Daniel, Aiden, this is Leah, and Sunny. So if I flip 2 weeks down, these are the priority requests I've already have for this week. So Sunday night, our time, Monday noon Beijing time, when that Frenzy opens, pretty much 50% of my schedule is already booked. I'm going to open up the rest of those blue slots that I'm willing to teach, and those are the ones that are going to be booked. So you hear people talking a lot about, Frenzy, but a lot of times you will already have bookings before that Frenzy begins. Now let's talk about regular students. This is, of course, the bread and butter of teaching online, and you want to approach each class like you're going to gain that regular student, each booked info pending, each trial class. Be good to your regulars. You want to keep the same times open every week. Tell them well in advance if you're going to take a trip, and they do appreciate meaningful feedback that changes. It's not just copy and paste from Feedback Panda or even from the portal. And generally, they really appreciate that consistency. Chinese students' lives are very scheduled. They're going to school, they're going to extracurricular activities, they're having other lessons, and so the parents appreciate that VIP Kid Lessons is going to be Tuesday and Thursday every week at 7. Right? So they appreciate that. That's changed a little bit with the virus and quarantine, but generally, and I think we're kind of getting back into that mindset, they like that consistency. Always ask for apples and reply to their apple feedback. You can do this on the computer. You can typically reply for about 10 days. Just tell them thank you, you appreciate them, leave them a little a note, something personal about the lesson. And utilize all those things that you have now, like cards, feedback reply, and Apple replies to form that relationship. And try Chinese social media. I am on WeChat, but I set clear boundaries. I only friend the parents. I don't friend the students. And I only, they know that I'm not on there as much as I'm on Facebook. I get on there twice a week. I make a post. I do have personal chats with them, but I don't try to schedule things on WeChat with them. And I just, keep those clear boundaries. There's been some problems arise with people who have been friends with some of their students, and then also the company really, really discourages trying to set bookings with parents over WeChat. They want you to utilize the portal, utilize what you have available on that bookings page instead of trying to do it on WeChat. But it can be a helpful tool, especially if they're not in class or something. Yeah.
How do you reply to the 5 Apple feedbacks?
Okay. So you're going to go to your feedback, and you just click right here. Click
Oh,
reply.
never even noticed that. Wow, I should have been doing that. Okay, thank you.
So I might say, I love teaching
Oh, wow.
Annabelle, right? And so then they're going to see that. They are going to see that. The other parents don't see that. This is the question that we get a lot. I sent a ticket before I spoke at Journey last time, and I asked this question, outright. Can all of the parents see our replies? So like if I was saying to every one of them, thank you so much, I enjoyed seeing them in class, they're my favorite student. Are all the parents going to see that I told all the students they were my favorite student? No,
Ah,
only the parent that you're responding to is going to see that.
is
So
it too late to go back and do it now, you think?
Some of them. So you will see, like if I keep scrolling down, like it stops. It's usually,
Oh,
again,
yeah,
it's
right.
about 7 to 10 days that they give you a chance to reply.
Okay.
how do you ask for the apples? So in your feedback, what do you usually say? You just say like, please send me apples, you know?
So typically what I say is like, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thank you for your 5 apple review.
Uh-huh.
Thank you for giving me 5 apples. That means so much to me and VIP Kid.
Mhm.
Or I appreciate you taking the time. Like I go ahead and thank them. I assume that they're going to do that. That's what I do. But there are, many ways you can do it. You could say, if you enjoyed our class, please leave me a 5 apple review. I've also seen and heard a lot people asking for something. Like, I want to know what reward Kevin will like. Please leave me a 5 apple review telling me what he likes. And so maybe they'll leave you a review. And I've actually done that one time. I asked for Tom, and then his mom said, Tom likes karate, swimming, and Ultraman, and so then I knew next time to use an Ultraman reward. So you can kind of give them a reason, ask them a specific question, or just go ahead and thank them for it. Oh, I like that. Stephanie says she has a white hanger for her props for level 2. I love it. All right. So now let's talk about the number of regular students. There is no limit to the number of regular students you can have. The parents are the ones that have a limit. They can choose 5 teachers to be their regular teachers. And for them, you're called an exclusive foreign teacher. They can set up that automatic priority booking to schedule with you as a regular teacher. And they can book classes 4 hours earlier than the frenzy on Monday. So they can book at 8 a.m. with you if they have set you as their regular teacher. If you're not given this label, they can only start Monday at noon, or they can use that priority booking. If you taught them at Tuesday at 7 a.m., then they can book 2 weeks later, Tuesday at 7 a.m. But they can, even if they haven't had a class with you in a while, if you're set as their regular teacher, they can book 4 hours earlier. So it's the same thing for interested students. There's not a limit to the number of interested students you can have, but there is a 10 to 15 teacher limit for interested students. So interested students are going to be those yellow students that you see on your booking page. So you just see, you just see interested student. Let's see. Well, it's not showing up anymore. But on Monday, you'll just see that interested student here, people that are students and parents that are there you go, that are interested in those classes. So this is the week that we'll be booking Sunday night. So you can see how many interested students, and so you can have more of these than you could possibly teach classes. And just because you open a class slot where there's an interested student doesn't mean that they'll book it. It just means that they were interested in that spot with you, but it doesn't lock them into booking that class. But these are more than likely the people that are following you, the people that are by that little flower, the number by the little flower. They cannot set up, yeah, you used to know who it was. They took the names away. You cannot set up, they cannot set up priority bookings, but they can ask the LP. So if they're on their interested teacher list, they can call or email the LP and say, hey, we really want to get on Teacher Jade's class, can you get us a booking? And the LP can do early scheduling for them as an interested student. And then Monday at 8 a.m., what happens is the system sorts the interested students' time preferences with the interested students' teachers, and then they send them a list. Here's the times you wanted. Here's your interested teachers who are going to be teaching those times. And then they can physically book a time from that list. And they get to decide how they get that list. It can be a notification on their phone app, or it could be an email. But if they don't book early, again, they can still book just like everyone else at noon on Monday. So this is what it looks like for them. This is where they set up the time, advanced access to appointment. So this is where they click on there and they say, this is the time that I want to book with my regular teacher. And then they, of course, they enter the time that they want. Now they click here to choose their exclusive foreign teacher. So you can see here that where Rebecca, me, Leslie, and Camille are the exclusive foreign teachers. This is student Alex. And so she has chosen a time, and she's chosen us as the regular teachers there. And this is the fixed time. And so that way the system can automatically book those regular teachers when they open the time. And these are the bookings that you're going to see right after you teach a student. And that class is open. If you immediately get that priority booking request, like within an hour after teaching the class, these are the booking requests you're getting. These are the regular teacher booking requests that are automatically set up. They're coming from the system, or they're coming from the LP. But this is how the parent sets that up. Yep, they can have up to 5 regular teachers, and most of them do. There are some, even if they have one that they take most of their classes with that teacher, they do have 2 or 3 others in case that teacher takes vacation or gets sick. They have other teachers that they like as well. They take advantage of this. If they are able to choose 5 regular teachers, they do. If they're able to choose 15 interested teachers, they do. So whenever they're looking for a new teacher, so here you are, you're in your first contract, you're new to VIP Kid, and you want to know, how they're finding you. How are they going to find you? So they're going to go in to the booking page to find a teacher. They're going to choose, male or female. This one says unlimited. It just means it doesn't matter. Then they choose your teaching experience. This teaching experience tag is going to come from your bio. It's going to be what you put in that basic application. So stress to anybody that is interested, or anybody that is like your referral, to put the most experience that they can. There is a lot that is determined. I mean, it's a little bitty, like mostly drop down list that you're filling out for that basic application, but that has a lot to do with the base pay that you're offered. And it even, rolls over to what's put into the system when parents are searching for a teacher. So you want to put the most amount of experience that you can put here. Then they're going to choose that certification, whatever class or level they're looking for, their student is in. Then they get to pick their teaching tags. Do they want a patient teacher? Do they want a teacher that's going to scaffold? Do they want a teacher with excellent TPR or facial expressions? They get to choose that there. So it's going to sort, that list of teachers is going to be sorted by those tags that they picked. And then some of them are going to be, they can look here, once they click on that, they can look and see suggested by the LP. These are teachers that their learning partner is suggesting for them. If they have exclusive teachers, they're going to be listed here. And so is the interested list. And this keeps going down. They can see the gyms that they have. They use that kind of like we use tokens in a store. So I talked to some of my parents. I said, what is the most important to you? What are you looking at, or what are you looking for when you're looking for a teacher? And it's kind of all over the place. Okay, so there's not one thing you can do. I had one mom said, I'm going to watch the introduction videos that are recommended from a friend. But different teachers suit different students, and so if I see that something is happening in a lot of the videos with certain tags, I'm going to go look at different tags. I had another mom tell me on one hand, she listens to the head teacher, so she's talking about that learning partner, but then she goes and reads everything about that teacher herself, and she says, I care more about them being encouraging and patient. With this is Alex's mom. Alex needs an encouraging and patient teacher, I promise. And so she knows that, so she's looking for those tags. And then she says in the morning every week, the system automatically arranges those courses for her, but then she can go in and change them. If she's like, hey, I chose Melissa as my regular teacher, but we've had 4 classes and I really don't like her, she can switch those around. Or if she decides, hey, I really can't take class at 7 o'clock on Tuesday this week, she can change it to another regular teacher. So while they get that pre-arranged list, they're still able to change it after they get it. And she says there's 2 photos. One parent says, there's 2 photos and there's a description, but I'm so busy that I just let the staff choose the teacher for me. So there are some parents who are really hands-off. They're just letting the LPs do it. And again, that's why you want to get in front of the LPs. You want them to know you. You want them to schedule those trials for you, schedule those supplementary classes, and booked info pending for you. And then level 7s, they can't use that automatic priority booking feature, but remember they can book earlier. They can book about 4 hours earlier on Sunday because their classes are 50 minutes. They typically cannot book 3 weeks in advance. This was happening, but I talked to somebody in the sales team specifically that can speak English. They said if someone is getting those level 7, level 8 classes booked 2 or 3 weeks in advance, it's because the parents have called to complain. They're like, hey, we really like this teacher, or hey, we really want to get in with that teacher, and just express the desire. They're going to listen to the parents. The parents are the customers here. So sometimes they bend the rules for the customers, but that was happening a lot because there wasn't a lot of level 7 and level 8 teachers. And since then they've opened it up. There's been 1,000 more level 7 teachers opened. Well, it might even be more than that now, but a couple of months ago it was, 1,000 more had been added. LPs do watch these classes closely. So if you do get a chance to get certified for level 7, they are watching these classes. Are the students making the speeches? Are they doing their homework? Are they progressing with those difficult concepts in level 7 and level 8? And then they're going to ensure that that student continues to have classes with you because they want to see that product. They want to see them doing the work there. So if you are, level 7 is good to get if you are available or you have that available to get. The TOEFL primary courses, though, are booked just like any other MC course. Closing and reopening the slots does not send any kind of notification to your parents. It doesn't. There's nothing that's going to happen with that. They're going to still come in and look at that. This is a myth that's been going around for years. It doesn't hurt anything, but it's probably not helping anything either. But if you do close and open a slot after the 24 hours, like less than 24 hours, parents can receive that notification if they have chose to. If they aren't interested or a regular student and they have checked, I want to receive this notification. But it's only going to happen if it is less than 24 hours and they've set their preference. It's not going to send a whole notification to everybody that's following your schedule. PPT Friday and Saturday nights are typically good short notice slots. That was true. Now night times are good now too. I'm still getting some evening short notice classes. And we talked a little bit about the supplementary courses. And they do, again, encourage them to be booked with new teachers. The more certification and the more experience you have, the more you're likely to get these classes booked by the LP. So booked info pending replaced the substitute program. Used to, they would send out an email. They would say, are you interested in being a substitute teacher? You would go fill out a form, and then you would send it back in, and you were supposed to keep those classes closed. And about 5-6 days later, they would send you your confirmed substitute spots, and then you could open up any spots that weren't confirmed substitute spots. And then you checked in, and you said you were there 30 minutes before, and you got signed a spot by the firemen. But there were all kinds of issues. There were people that were saying every class was available to be a substitute, but then they would keep it open on their schedule, so then they weren't really available. They would need substitutes, and they wouldn't really be available for their substitute classes. So this is what happened. They changed it to booked info pending. And whenever it happened, Facebook went crazy. Everybody was like, book info pending, they're taking away our pay. And, but they really did it to try to help new teachers and all the teachers. And also it required less, I mean, there was a lot that went on. You checked in, the fireman had to see if you could teach that class, the fireman had to assign you, they had to let you know that you were assigned, then you had to enter the class. Like this way you're there, you're just already in the classroom. And if you opt out because you don't want that short notice of a class, they're going to reply back and they're going to say, okay, but you can't opt back in. And they did this on purpose because they just didn't want their system being inundated with, I'm opting out. No, I want to opt back in. Well, I want to opt out of the trials, but I want to opt into the MC classes. Well, I want to, you know, they're trying to sort of mitigate that because, again, like I said, Facebook went crazy when this was introduced. But don't opt out if you need bookings. Because again, these are the ones that are going to be booked by those LPs. These are the ones that are going to be booked by that sales team. And so this is going to be a really good option for you to keep those classes. If you did opt out and you're having trouble with low bookings, I would send a ticket begging to get it back. Yes, it is short notice. Yes, it is quick, but as long as you've kind of got the techniques down, maybe you have that trial bucket of props, you're going to be doing good with the booked info pending. You would never sub because you heard so many horror stories. Yeah, I mean, you could, if you didn't see that notification from the fireman and you didn't enter into your subclass, you got hit with a teacher no-show. I mean, so this, at least this way, you're there. You're in the classes with them. Yeah, I've had, they've all showed up for me. There's been a couple times when I've had booked info pending and I was just hoping that I was going to get paid for like a student no-show, but I didn't. If it is a booked info pending trial, you get half pay if they don't show up. If it is a booked info pending MC class, you get full pay if they don't show up. So you are a substitute, but you're getting that full pay. You don't just get half pay for that. You've only had one of them be a student no-show, Lori? Yeah. All right. So that's everything official I have for you. I'm going to just, let's see, stop the share and see if there are any other questions. I'm pretty sure I couldn't get everything in there.
So should we always be leaving a message? I'm sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead. Should we always be leaving a message?
Yeah, for the LP.
Yes, I would.
And see, I didn't realize that. I wasn't even sure what a learning partner was. So that's good. She has direct contact then with the parents.
Yeah. So when you're leaving your feedback, you leave like, this is for the parent, teacher to teacher, then you fill out all those bubbles, and then it gives you that box where you can write to the LP. I do that. Like if I have a new student and I really like them, I'm going to type into that box, hey, I really appreciated the student. I would love to teach her more, or, any other level 3 students. And there's a couple of units that I really like. So I'll write to the LP, hey, I really enjoyed teaching this unit. You have any more students, and so like, I love that 3 Little Pigs,
okay.
Monkey story, folktale, that's what it's called. The folktale unit in level 3. So I will always leave a message. Like,
okay, good to know.
Any other questions?
And I was going to add something that you haven't said. Is sometimes your age level will shift. And it's kind of strange, levels that you teach, even though you're certified for all levels. I have gone from having almost all beginners. Well, I started off having almost all intermediate advanced, down to all beginners, like levels 1, 2. And now I'm kind of in this upper 2s, 3s, 4s through 6s. I have no 7s right now, but I have 4 of mine that are getting ready to flip into 7, and the parents have already mentioned it. So just know that don't be like you get so fixed in one level. Don't feel like it's always going to stay that way. That's my 2-year-old. Sorry. Oh. She's having a good time over here as I'm talking, so she's trying to join y'all.
Yeah.
But just so you know, I mean, that's just how your schedule works sometimes, is as your kids age with you, the LPs will see you doing a really good job in a certain level and throw a bunch at you. Yeah. I had 4 short notice in 2 days, all be the exact same unit that I was teaching, and that was on the movement in level 3, on how things move, which I love that unit. So half my daughter's toys stay in here because she has a roller coaster, a Ferris wheel, a merry-go-round swing.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they do. And they pay attention to the Apple feedback too. Like LPs have access to everything. So if they see that you're getting a lot of 5-apple feedback, so I've gotten a lot lately on, you know, an eagle glides, a snake slithers. I can't think about what, it's a level 3 unit. I can't think about what it is now. It's an earlier level 3 unit, but I've gotten a lot of 5-apple feedbacks. And then today I taught 2 new students, like Daniel and Aiden were both new students for me, and they were in that unit. We were talking about how an eagle glides. And I was thinking as I was teaching them, I was like, oh, yeah, somebody noticed that last week I got 3 5-apples for this unit. So they're paying attention to that as well. Oh, wait, you're muted, Laurie.
I know, sorry. She was making so much noise. So the other thing I was going to say is, so the personality traits of the student. I will get a ton of the similar personality traits. Hey, you, that's loud.
That's from the tags, don't you think, Laurie?
No, well, I've
tags.
actually, the LPs, too, we'll pick that up. My teacher tags, I don't have patient on mine, even though that's one I've gotten a bunch on. I'm very enthusiastic and, okay, that's really annoying. Very enthusiastic and motivating. So, and I don't remember what the tag is for that right now, where, you know, I'm good at encouragement. Yeah. And so that's when I get a lot. And I've never changed my tags because I've had success with them.
Right.
Energetic, student encouragement. That was the other big one that I get because of that. And I can get those shy kids out of their shells a little bit sometimes. So that helps. But yeah. But those LPs definitely do pay attention to that.
Yeah. So the one other thing I was going to mention, and I sent this in through the Builders channel, asking some questions, trying to get some clarification here. But so once you are a teacher, they're going to, I mean, I wouldn't say it's really like they promote you, but they kind of feature you. You're a new teacher. They're looking for a level 3 teacher that's, you know, got 4 years of experience and is a woman, or, you know, you're going to be showing up on the top of that list there. And so that happens like the first week or 2 after you sign your contract, but they're not going to continue that because there's constantly new people coming in. And so you're going to see like this big rush at first, and then it's going to kind of taper off, and you have to build it back up yourself. So that is true. Whenever I'm in a mentor session, I'm talking about this, and I tell people, if they come to me, if you ask on the friends page, I'm very honest about this. This is not something that's going to happen right out the gate for you. It's going to take 3 to 6 months to build this business up and get those clients. And so you kind of have to go into it with that mindset. This isn't you're going to make money quick. You're going to have to kind of work at it, build those, and you're going to lose some regulars and gain some regulars. You know, I still remember like Jerry was my first regular. There's a ton of Jerrys, but Jerry was my first regular. And, you know, I lost him maybe about a year and a half later. He quit trying. I wasn't motivating him anymore. You know, I wasn't fun. He knew all my tricks. He knew all my jokes, you know. And so I lost him, and he went to a new teacher. And so that happens too. And just try not to take that personally. I mean, I still have Sunny. I've taught since my 2nd week of teaching. I taught her today, you know, and I teach her every day. Every day I teach Sunny at either 8 or 8:30, depending on when they can get on my schedule. So you're going to have those, the hard regulars, and then you're going to have someone who stays with you 5 or 6 months and then moves on. And you're going to have ones that share teachers. I do like the ones that share teachers. I try to find those teachers. There's a Facebook page where you can like put a hashtag, you can find the teachers. I communicate with them. I had a really challenging student who was also being taught by one other teacher. I found Tabitha. We kind of collaborated. We did the same thing. We used a yes or no sign together. We decided we were going to kind of prompt and focus on the same things at the same time. And guess what? He started improving, right? He got better because we were working together. So don't be put off by that. Like, sharing a student is good, and it takes the pressure off of you. And then there are also ones that just do UAs. like you will have students that just come to you for those unit assessments. So I have another Jerry. That's what I do. I get him for every level less than 12 unit assessment. I'm going to see Jerry. So, parents, they do what they want to do. Some some LPs help them, but it's going to vary. There's not one constant that I can tell you, which might be frustrating for you if you're looking for bookings right now. But there's not one constant. Anything else? Oh, Michelle had to leave. It was dinner time in France. I didn't even ask him where everybody was from. She was in France. Oh.
So for profile pictures, because you recommend switching between a couple, like, are we going for more, it's the main profile picture, right? Mm-hmm. So are we going for like funny or professional or just like, I don't have more than one, so I'm trying to figure out what I'm supposed to put up today.
So I would go, like when I change it from a very professional picture that, let's see, I think I had it here. So let's see. So when I change mine, and I don't, I'm not typically changing mine a whole lot now, but I'll use something like this. See, this is a very professional black background picture. But right now, that's not my picture. It's me in the classroom. Let's see if I can go find it. Well, yeah, it's right there. You can kind of see it right there. But yeah, in the classroom with headphones. So, I mean, not really funny. I wouldn't put anybody else in there. I personally don't recommend the like a stuffed animal or a puppet in the pictures. Not just because a lot of times people will send those in and then they'll get a message back that it's too confusing. And people will be like, it's too confusing. Like, you couldn't tell me from Dino, but that's what you're going to get in that like secondhand language from China. So I would suggest just you in that profile picture. Mm-hmm. And then this is a picture of me and Cindy Me, and then I put a picture of my family. You could put a picture of you doing something with like something you like to do, like a hobby. Pets, they do, that's.
Does updating featured photos count too, or just updating the profile picture? Yeah,
because if you update these, they have to approve it.
Okay.
So somebody has to physically see it and approve it as your profile picture. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So any of these three pictures or your video, that's a little bit more involved. And of course, you can edit here, and you can click edit and you can change what it says and click update, but it's not going to retranslate for those parents unless you send a ticket asking them to retranslate it. Mm-hmm. So. All right. Oh, wait, Ashley, are you talking?
No, I was talking to my kids. Oh, sorry.
Okay. All right, that's okay.
But actually, I do have something to say. Okay.
Okay.
So when I first started teaching, in case anybody's new, when I first started, I thought, oh, I want all the little ones because, I have 4 kids, but my youngest 2, well, my middle children are 6 and 7. So I thought, oh, I want the little ones, the little preschool ones, the little cute ones. Oh my, yeah, so I got tons of those, and I was so tired and my face hurt so bad. And then I thought, well, maybe I'll branch out a little and I'll try level 3, and I loved level 3, and I thought maybe I'll try level 4 too, and then I loved level 4. So don't keep yourself in this little tiny box. Don't think, oh, I love little kids, so I'm gonna do that. And now I literally have only one regular who's in level 1 because that just wasn't where I was at, I guess. When I thought that's where I was, it really wasn't. And I guess they could tell. No, she's a diehard regular. I see her every week. But kind of the mid-levels for me have been where I'm at. And honestly, I need to certify for level 6 and level 7, and I've just been putting it off forever. I don't know why. It just makes me nervous because it's so technical, I guess. Not that I don't think I could do it, but it's just, I don't know. It's like just getting yourself to go over the hump and just do it sometimes. You just kind of hit a wall and you're like, oh, I'll do that tomorrow. Tomorrow I will certify for level 6. And then the next day I'm like, tomorrow I will certify for level 6. And it just goes on and on. But yeah, don't think, oh, I just love this age, so I'll just do this. I'll just do the little ones and I'll not touch the big ones. Sometimes you wind up not where you think you'll be at all. I did for sure. So, yes.
Yeah. I mean, and I have a ton of certifications. I mean, you saw that when I was going through, but I don't really teach that many different classes. I mean, I'm certified in all the like planets and dinosaurs and all of that. Never taught one, but it's there because, maybe I need it. Like if my bookings do drop off or I lose a couple of regulars, like, I mean, if I lost Sunny, that's 7 classes a week. Right. So I have them there kind of as backup. So that's why, get all of those certifications. And if I got booked for a dinosaur class, I'd be like, oh, and I have to go back, but you can always click in the little certification thing. You can see all that material. You can read through all of that before you have to teach a class if you get booked in one of those again.
And I just have to say, I'm amazed. I didn't realize any student took a class 7 days a week. Yeah. I don't have any of those.
She does. That
parent has money.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So she takes like all through when I first met her, she was taking every day through Chinese New Year, and then she kind of stopped. She disappeared, and I was like, okay. And I have another student, Josie, who takes every day during Chinese New Year, but then school goes back and she stops. And then I didn't see her for a while, and 3 or 4 months later, she showed back up, and it was me, and she started booking, she got on when she could because my schedule filled up. But then eventually she got back, and we got through that bundle every day, 7 days a week. And then, I guess the bundle ran up, and so we waited a couple of months, and then, oh, great, here's Sunny. She's back on my schedule. So it's not really consistent, but I think it's like when they're able to buy a bundle, we take every day, and then there's a break.
So do you also think that some parents look at how many levels you have so they can keep you for longer? Because I know I have several level 1s I started with that are now in level 3. Mm-hmm. And I know one parent commented that she was very excited to see that I could keep her student all the way through. Because they're planning on staying in until the end. Parents in college education, so is at a university. Yeah. So they are expecting to stay all the way through level 7.
Yeah.
But and so I know that parent said that, but do you agree that that's something parents do look at?
I do, especially for the younger students. I don't know so much for the older students, but for the younger students, they want that consistency. They want to be like, oh, teacher Lori is your teacher, and it's not going to change when they're making this big change from pre-VIP to level 2, or there's a big jump from level 2 to level 3 even. They want that consistency there. I wonder about the older units though, or the older students. I feel like they jump around more.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Like they kind of shop for a new teacher. Yeah.
Yeah, especially when they hit 6. But yeah. Well, and I know one of my students' parents told me that they were told by the LPs it's best to take at least 2 or 3 teachers in level 6 and 7 to get the variety of teaching styles to cover all the different strengths of a teacher.
Yep.
So.
They do. They tell them often in every phone call, especially if they're a teacher that's like, or they have one teacher, like Sunny's mom tells me all the time, well, I called again and they try to get me to do another teacher, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that's fine. If you want to do it, that's fine, but they never do. So. But that's okay. I mean, a lot of people seem to be, what's the right way to say this? Intimidated by sharing a student, by seeing that teachers are sharing, or there's a lot of different teachers. But again, I feel like a lot of pressure is taken off on me. Like with Sunny, I feel an awful lot of pressure. I mean, we have gone through level 3 in 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's been crazy. And so when we take those assessments, it's me. Like I'm basically judging my teaching here. Did she really learn those past tense verbs? Can she really use those sentence frames? And so like I feel the pressure taken off when I share with another teacher.
Yeah. Well, and to talk about that sharing, I have one student that the other teacher kept leaving regular student on. And I've been teaching the student 9 months, and I'm like, okay, I'm so glad I am sharing the student with a regular teacher, but how long have you been teaching him? Because I've taught him 2 to 3 days a week for 9 months, and he'd only been taking classes for 12 months, Well, to find out, she was his original teacher, and just slowly have they brought him back 1 day a week on my day off.
Oh.
So I finally got this other person, I don't know if it's a boy or girl, male or female, to actually start leaving notes besides the word regular student. Because it's like, it does me no good. And I finally, so how I did it kind of was bad. would laugh, is I said, it's like, regular student, I know how he's doing. And I didn't put any comments because I leave a decent amount of comments, and they're all just like snippets. They're not sentences.
Yeah.
You know, worked on this. Pronunciation is a big one on that kid. Enunciation, stopping and reading slowly, you know. And so I stopped doing it for about 3 feedbacks. And then all of a sudden he started leaving actual notes. So yeah.
Work with
I need
them.
to go onto that. Yeah. That's what I so leave notes to the other teachers and say, hey, I want to know. I want to be able to help. Work together. Yeah. But yeah, I need to get on that Facebook group.
I mean, I leave my reward just so I don't do it again because I'm just not that great. So I'm gonna leave my reward so I don't try to do it next time. And then I'm gonna leave something, for me, but also that's helpful for them. Like they really struggled with the word something, or these long sentence frames are frustrating, or this is way too difficult for the student. Like I'm going to leave that for the next teacher. So, always.
Yes, I would always leave something like that. Like sometimes if you see a student a lot, you can get into that yourself. I know when I started, I would always leave feedback, always leave that teacher to teacher feedback. And then I would see, oh, well, I'm almost the only one. So I stopped, and then there was a gap. And then I'm like, oh, I wasn't the only one. I was just the only one for that brief 2-week window. And now there are more. I guess I should have left some feedback. And now I'm on the other side of it. I have a student that I see every week, but I'm not her exclusive teacher, and her English is very limited. It's very hard for her to really say a whole lot of anything. She's level 2 and she likes to play with her toys and do all these things. And on one of the slides she said, oh, Teacher Ryan, and she started pointing to a man's picture. And so in the notes, I'm like, oh, Belle mentions that she saw Teacher Ryan today. And I'm like, fingers crossed, maybe Teacher Ryan's going to say something. No, he won't say anything ever. He never says anything. Like, I know you're out there, Teacher Ryan. Why won't you say anything? But some teachers just won't. I mean, some will never say anything.
I know. And there's some that have been around a while who are they were around for the big teacher to teacher feedback debacle where it became visible to the parents for a little while, and they're just like gun shy, not going to leave anything. I know.
That would be bad. Oh, that would be so bad.
The parents were like, well, you gave me all this glowing feedback, but then you told the other teacher that he was horrible and he wouldn't sit down and listen, and so they lost all their students, and, so they're just a little gun shy. I think that was right when I got hired, and I didn't even know, I didn't know what I was doing yet. So I
remember hearing about it when I got hired, and I was about 6 months after you. So.
And so I got on some of the Facebook pages, and everybody was complaining about that, and and I was like, "What are y'all talking about?" Like, I don't know. So what I did then is so awful. Like, I'm gonna admit this to like this little group, but I would copy my feedback and put it in teacher to teacher feedback. So whatever I said to the parent is what was in the teacher to teacher feedback, which everybody hates and everybody complains about. But that's what I did when I was first hired. That's what I did. So I guess I was okay. Like if any parent saw my feedback, I don't think it hurt me too much. But all right. Well, any other questions before we go? It's been about an hour.